The Sports Renegades podcast on SportsTownChicago.com. All right, welcome back to the Sports Renegades on SportsTownChicago.com. I'm Ryan Stuprich.
And I'm Ryan Risky.
And, you heard it from Ryan in the update.
That wasn't a mistake.
The Bulls are going to lose it. That they're not going to come back because they're the Bulls. They're going to lose to the 4-30-something 76ers in Philadelphia, if that helps any. I don't know. We'll talk about them a little later. But first, we're going to talk about our picks for the NFL games. We'll also recap last week. I will get the music queued up as we get ready to go. Let me turn down the volume. There we go. Good for your listening ears. I'll get the paper out, and we will start going. But yeah, that is just unbelievable with the Bulls.
Just hearing the score of that Bulls game is just one of those that makes you cringe and not really just not just care about anything the rest of the night. I mean, it's disgraceful losing by 20 to Philadelphia, and it's close to halftime.
Oh, boy. Yeah, they were going on a 6-game winning streak. Now they're going on a 6-game losing streak. It'll be 4 at least. All right, let's talk about last week in the NFL. First, I don't even think we recapped the finale, actually, which I will do right now. Our regular season totals. I ended up 9-7-1. Ryan Risky ended up 7-9-1, obviously. And then points, meaning how many games we picked correct. I picked 3 more games correctly only than Ryan Risky did. So I got 151 games correct, and Ryan Risky got 148.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So I ended up winning the regular season. That is not the case now, though, as Ryan Risky is beating me in the playoffs.
It helps when you guess every game right.
It does, obviously, since there was only 4 games to pick. The only thing, we both picked Kansas City over Houston. Both picked Pittsburgh over Cincinnati.
You kind of wonder now if Houston is going to try to trade up to get a quarterback, because I think they know they probably won't be winning the division next year unless they get one, because Andrew Luck will be back and healthy for the Colts.
Right, I would agree with that. We both picked Pittsburgh over Cincinnati. And Ryan Risky picked Seattle. I ended up picking Minnesota. I really should have picked that correctly, but unfortunately, Blair Walsh missed that field goal, and then so Ryan Risky got a point. And then we both picked Green Bay over Washington. We were both pretty confident in that pick.
Yeah, I mean, that's one you feel pretty good about.
I mean, I was rooting for the Redskins the whole way, and coming out of halftime, I think they had an 18-17 lead after they scored in the third quarter. Unfortunately, they didn't really do anything after that, and Green Bay prevailed. So Ryan Risky won that first round, 4-3, I guess is what we'll say. Okay, second round now. Pittsburgh at Denver. What's your early reaction on this? We got the reaction from Chris, and I think
I'm going with Denver. Yes. I think Pittsburgh has the talent to win. I just think their top playmakers are too banged up to get this win.
I agree with you. I think Denver's going to win, and as I said during the interview, I said, even if they had Brock Osweiler out there, I still think they would get the job done and beat up the Steelers. Roethlisberger is definitely more hurt than Peyton Manning is. Roethlisberger is banged up. Antonio Brown
can barely throw the ball now.
Right, Antonio Brown might not even be playing. That takes away your biggest threat. I mean, Martavis Bryant and Marcus Wheaton are pretty good, but
D'Angelo Williams might not be playing, and that becomes a problem because then they can't
run game.
Then they won't have a run game, and they won't be able to try screen passes.
They've had a lot of injuries. They got dealt a really bad hand early in the season too with Le'Veon Bell with a suspension and then the injury. The Steelers' luck is going to run out this week. We're both picking Denver. The other game, Kansas City at New England. I feel so bad for Kansas City. They get to the playoffs, they've gotten to the playoffs the last 3 or 4 years, and this is the first time they made it out of the first round, which is exciting.
That was their first playoff win in a very long time.
Since January of 94, I believe. I wasn't even born yet. Neither of us were even born yet when they won their last playoff game, which is crazy. Now, New England is battered, and they've been dealt a really bad hand, too. They've lost pretty much all of their main starters except for Gronk. So I don't know.
It's a tough game. I mean, obviously Kansas City has the hot hand, except New England's the kind of team that's going to fight, that'll come away with a close win. I'm going with New England.
I'm going to go with Kansas City. and I hope I'm right because I do
think
like
we're getting a Manning and Brady one final Manning and Brady showdown.
That is definitely the nice conservative pick there. I agree. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Kansas City is somehow going to win this game. I hope I'm right. I'll be rooting for Kansas City. I've liked them for a while. And while I respect the Patriots and Tom Brady, and I think Tom Brady's a great guy, I have to go with Kansas City. Hopefully I'm right. I just think Kansas City is the hottest team in the NFL right now. If you look at the winning streak, they started 1-5, and then they won all of their games. Yeah, and they still haven't lost.
That loss to the Bears was a big wake-up call.
Right. They lost to the Bears, they lost to the Packers, and I think they lost to the Lions or Vikings, too. They lost to 3 out of the 4 NFC.
I don't think they lost to the Lions because the Lions' first win was against the Bears.
All right, well, then it was the Vikings that they lost to. I know they lost to 3 NFC North teams, one of them being the Bears. And so that's not good, but they turned it around fast. Travis Kelce is great. I feel like it'll be a battle between him and Gronk for the offense, pretty much. But I'm going to go Kansas City. Let's move to the NFC. Green Bay, after beating the Redskins in FedEx Field in Washington, D.C., they're going to Arizona, into Glendale, to play the Cardinals. And I love the Cardinals. I'm a big Carson Palmer fan. I'm a big fan of what they've done this year. So I'm going to go with them, and they better not let me down.
I think the Cardinals are the best team right now, the most complete team, as Chris said. I'm going with them.
Yeah, I mean, it's either them or Carolina, and Carolina, has a lot of matchup problems in this next game, which we'll talk about in a minute. But, I think Arizona is definitely a very complete team. They haven't had a lot of injuries. They've got 3 really good offensive weapons, Fitzgerald and Josh Brown, and they've got another guy, too, that's
Michael Floyd.
Yeah, Michael Floyd would be the guy I'm thinking of. And they got a pretty good run game, too.
I think Chris Johnson returned to practice.
Johnson's been good. Hopefully he's ready to go. Carson Palmer's been really playing well. He's limited turnovers. He hasn't thrown as many interceptions as he used to.
The best season of his career.
Which is kind of weird because he's pretty old, and he's had such a bounce-back year.
Bruce Arians is a very good offensive mind. That's why the Bears should have hired him.
Right.
Or even Mike McCoy. He was another good offensive mind when they hired Mark Trestman.
Yeah, that's true. And then on the other side of it, the Packers, the Packers didn't really have anything in the regular season. They were up and down all year, but they had a pretty good playoff game, and of course they're a scary team to play in the playoffs because of the Packers, and they usually make it to the NFC Championship.
I think Arizona's going to find a way to neutralize Green Bay.
Yeah, I hope so.
I think it'll be a closer game than the last time.
Well, I can promise you Rodgers won't get sacked 9 times.
Yeah, I think it'll be a closer game, like a 24-17 type game, maybe 27-20 type game, except that it'll be Arizona coming out on top.
Yeah, I just think Arizona has more offense, so therefore, I agree. They probably win by a touchdown. The last game that we're talking about, and the last game left, Seattle at Carolina. Seattle eked out a win by the skin of their teeth and the grace of God for Russell Wilson, and Carolina is playing at home, and they've been the best team record-wise throughout the whole season, so we'll have to see what happens here. What's your gut reaction?
This is exactly why Carolina needed to lose a game at the end of the regular season, because I think they're going to lose, and that would look really bad if you have an undefeated regular season and then you lose your first playoff game.
So you are going with Seattle?
Yes. I don't think Cam Newton has enough talent to work with on offense to be able to beat the defense or the secondary of Seattle.
Yeah, this one is tough to pick. It's hard to go against Seattle, let alone in the playoffs or the regular season. But I got to go with Carolina. They're playing at home. Cam Newton's the MVP. No question about it, really. And, I mean, they have to win this game. Otherwise, I mean, it'll be such a disappointment.
If they win this game, it'll most likely be because of Cam Newton.
Yeah, I feel like Cam Newton will be able to still run. He'll be able to run and maybe open up some things and play make. Throw to Greg Olsen, throw to Ted Ginn Jr. I mean, they still got some weapons. Their defense is still great with Luke Kuechly leading the way, and I just think Carolina, when you match it up, I mean, there are some tough matchups because Seattle plays pretty good, especially on the defensive side. But I think Carolina will be able to get to Seattle's offense, and I just think Seattle won't score enough points.
See, I think Seattle's going to be able to score enough points. I don't think Carolina is going to be able to score enough.
Well, I I mean, I don't really have a preference on who wins this game. I guess I'm rooting for Carolina just because I'm not the biggest Seattle fan, but yeah, it's going to be tough. I'm going with Carolina, though.
I'd like to see Carolina win because I'm really getting sick of seeing Green Bay and Seattle make deep playoff runs.
Because then I have to root for Seattle again, and then I was rooting for Seattle in the Super Bowl when they unfortunately did a stupid play and lost to New England. But I was okay with the Patriots winning. I hope I'm right with picking Kansas City over New England.
Yeah,
that'll be the tough one.
I do like Cam Newton a lot. I hope they win. I just don't think they will.
Right, so those are our picks. You can tweet us yours. I'm at Ryan Stuprich on Twitter.
At @dark_risky.
And, we'll see who's right and who's wrong. We have 2 picks are the same, Denver and Arizona. But then I'm picking Carolina, and Ryan Risky is picking Seattle. And I'm picking Kansas City. Ryan Risky is picking New England. Don't let me down, Kansas City. You already won a World Series this year. Maybe you'll make it to the AFC Championship game and sort of revitalize that sports city. Okay, we're going to take a break. We'll come back and we'll talk about the dysfunction that is the Chicago Bulls and what the heck is going on. They were on a roll, and now they are off the roll and on the floor crying as the Bulls are being blown out by the Philadelphia 76ers. We'll talk about all that next. Sports Renegades, SportsTownChicago.com. The Sports Renegades podcast on SportsTownChicago.com.